Hey guys and grills, welcome to the official MLG guide to object programming in Java. Today we will be covering lesson 6.3, which is on constructors.
Okay, so what are constructors? Basically, constructors are instance methods with the purpose of giving initial values to the object as it's created.
For every class that you create, Java already has a default constructor created for you.
The default constructor assigns Boolean values to false, numeric values to 0, and all other values that aren't Boolean or numeric to null. So for example, string values would be given the value of null, or even object values that were created in a different class would be given the value of null.
Okay, I think it's time we create an object. Let's create a pizza object.
So for our pizza meal, the fields that we will have are topping number 1, topping number 2, topping number 3, the drink they want, what size they want, the number of dips they want, and an option for a Dorito chip bag. So we could think of Tyrone as the user of the program that was created by the pizza store, and when he is making an order for a pizza meal, he's calling the constructor that was created in the program, just like how he would call the pizza store to get an order.
Okay, let's see what happens when Tyrone makes an order for pizza.
Hello, my name is Tyrone. I would like to make an order for a standard pizza meal.
Okay, here's your order, Tyrone.
You what, mate? This order sucks.
So Tyrone's pizza order sucks. So let's see why it sucks. There's no toppings at all. There's no drink. There's also no pizza dip, no Dorito chip bag, and it comes in this really weird size as well. So looking at his pizza, it looks like the pizza store gave Tyrone the values of the default constructor that was automatically created. As you can see, the 3 toppings are set to null. That's why there's just a plain cheese pizza. There's no drink, as the drink option is set to null as well. The Dorito chip bag is set to false. The size is null, and the number of dips is set to 0. Okay, so now let's create our own default constructor that will override the one that was automatically created, because we want to set our own default values instead of using the one that was automatically created, since it had values like null, 0, and false.
Alright mate, let's make our own default, yay. Let's have topping number 1 as Ripperino Pepperino. Topping number 2 and 3 can stay as null. For the drink let's have Dartsony water as the default. For the number of dips let's have 1 as the default number. For the Dorito chip bag let's have it as true. And finally for the size let's have it as medium. Do you like my Khan Academy paint skills?
Okay, so with these default values, when the customer orders the pizza, they won't get the previous default values, the ones that was automatically created. Instead, they'll get the ones that we created. So they will get pepperoni topping, they'll get a Dorito chip bag, they'll get the Dasani water, they would get medium-sized pizza instead of that really weird size, and they will also get 1 pizza dip instead of 0. So it's really important when you're creating an object to override the default constructor that was already implemented by Java and to make your own one. So now that we have the default constructor overridden, are there any other constructors that we can make? The answer is yes. We can overload as much constructors as we want, as each constructor will be unique in its own way, as they will have different kinds of initialization values for the object. So going back to our pizza, let's say Tyrone doesn't want to just buy a standard pizza. Maybe he wants to get a different drink, or he wants to have different toppings. Maybe he doesn't want the chip bag. Maybe he wants more dip. So, as the pizza store, we will make a constructor that will let Tyrone choose which way he wants his pizza meal.
Hello, my name is Tyrone. I would like to make an order for a extra large pizza. I would like ripperino pepperino on my pizza along with mushrooms and green peppers. I would like a bottle of Mountain Dew. 4 pizza dips please. Dorito chip bag as well.
Okay, so for this constructor, we're going to make it so that it takes in the order from the customer Tyrone and uses those values as the initial values. So you can think of the values that the customer gives as what you would put in the parameters of the program, and whatever you put as your parameters, those values will be the initial values that the constructor assigns. Okay, so we're going to change these values into the values that he placed on his pizza meal order. And here is the result. Okay, so let's say Tyrone wants to make 2 identical pizza orders. So we can make a constructor to copy the values from the first pizza he makes onto the second pizza he orders. That way he will have 2 of the same pizzas with the same values.
Alright mate, I think it's time we do some coding.
What's going on guys, it's me Hamza Khan. So as you can see here, this is the default constructor for our pizza object. The proper way to write the method header is to write the word public first. And since constructors are instance methods, we don't write static, so we leave it as it is. Then we write, in this case, our object pizza. And lastly, we put the brackets for the parameters since this is the default and there are no parameters. So as you can see here, the body of the constructor, basically what's happening is that the implicit values are getting the values that we set in the default as a programmer. And finally, we want to call the default constructor what we first called our pizza object. So let's name the object P1. And now let's display it. There you can see the values match with the default one that we set, so it works. Okay, moving on to the constructor that allows Tyrone to choose what he wants on the pizza meal. So similar to the default constructor, we start with public pizza, but the difference in this constructor are we're putting in the parameters. Instead of putting nothing at all, this time we're going to put the variable names of what Tyrone wants on his pizza meal. So we're going to have string variables for topping 1, topping 2, and topping 3. String variable and string variables for drink, integer value for the number of dips, Boolean value for his Dorito chips, and a string for his size. In the body, you can see that the implicit values gets the values from the parameters. So let's make a new pizza order. We're gonna call this one P2. Instead of having nothing in the brackets like before, we will put in the values that we want to set as our own pizza meal.
They match, woohoo.
Okay, so for our last constructor, the one that allows Tyrone to copy his order if he wants to make multiple orders, the only difference with the method header of this one and the previous constructor is this one has different values for the parameters. We'll have pizza other as the parameters. This way, whatever Tyrone can copy from the explicit pizza order to the implicit order. So as you can see here in the body, all the implicit values gets a value of the order and the parameters. Now let's test it out. Let's make a pizza order called P3. We're going to put P2 in the parameter, so let's call it the constructor, and there you go, voila.
But wait. pizza is Illuminati confirmed.